We'll be waiting for some other people to come in. Probably getting pretty started pretty soon here. So my name's Richard Procida, and this is the dating meetup and nonpartisan Red Pill Men's Group meeting on Do Women Have Game or Ladies Game? And so let's give a few minutes for people to come in here. And all right. Go ahead and try that again, and let's get started here. So, all right. So like I said, my name's Richard. This is the meetup on for the dating meetups and for the nonpartisan Red Pill Men's Group. We're going to be talking about Ladies Game. And what I'm going to do is we're doing a book study of Rollo Tomasi's book, The Rational Male. And then, so I'm going to read this section on Ladies Game, and then we're going to open it up for discussion. And I want to invite everybody to join in the discussion because we'd like to have some comments. It is being, thank you, Hiroka. No, I'll try that name some other time. And and so um, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up the let's see, put up the screen, and then I'm going to go ahead and you can read it with me. Okay, so let me see what I can do here. Okay, all right. All right, here we go. Okay, let's hide these. Okay, this. Here we go. All right. So, plate theory 5, ladies game, female plate theory. For as often as I've mentioned women being natural born plate theorists, I don't often go into detail about it. I think it's pretty well established that I completely disagree with the idea that women only want to fuck or have sex with or want to fuck one guy at a time. I could outline several women I know from experience in this, but really observing behavior will bear this out fairly predictably for most men. I will, however, agree that women are predisposed to and are socially encouraged to seek monogamy once convenient, of course. But as in all things female, the talk rarely matches the behavior. Sexuality is women's first best agency, and even the homeliest of women know this, even when they're just complaining about other women using it. The principle is that a woman's first priority is to seek out security, and even when confronted with the duplicity of women's pluralistic sexual strategy, would be wise to bear in mind when evaluating motives for behavior, their methodology is what's in question here. I'm not sure exactly what he's saying there, but I think what he's trying to say is that it's actual women's practice that is in question here, not their actual, although their priority is supposed to be security, we have to look at their actual behavior. There is an understandable confusion for guys in this respect. On one hand, women present a constant facade that the fear of being perceived as a slut, i.e., concurrently fucking more than one guy at a time, concurrently having sex with more than one guy at a time, is primary to their self-respect and respectability. However, this has to be tempered with the desire, both biological and psychological, to experience a variety of men in order to ensure the security provisioning from the best among them. So in order to facilitate this, women must practice a kind of calculated hypocrisy that is socially reinforced by the gender as a whole, as well as some men, usually those optionless as to excuse the behavior in order to get her sexually, or guys so conditioned that they overlook it as normal. It is socially acceptable for a woman to blatantly spin plates, which basically means that it's socially acceptable for women to date more than one guy at a time. Men will get criticized for that. But for women, there's no question that they can go out to dinner with one guy one night and with another guy the next night. Nobody asks them any questions, unless perhaps you're accusing them of having sex with them, and so they have to protect themselves from that perception. So this is the nature of the hypocrisy. So does this sound outrageous? While a woman who makes her sexual practices a bit too overt runs the risk of being perceived as a slut, which is dubious in this age as it is, most relatively attractive women covertly have a constant bullpen of starters ready to go to bat at any time. These are also known as orbiters. So regardless of what they say, they've got attractive women have a whole group of guys who are ready to go anytime she wants. Orbiters are the intention providers, the maybe guys. It makes little difference in terms of available options, which she chooses at any given time. The very fact that she has 5 or 6 of them pursuing her is enough to boost her sense of self-worth, her social status within her same gender peers, and give her the confidence to drop any one of her plates at a moment's notice for any reason, knowing that 2 or 3 more guys or 20 more on Facebook stand ready to take his place. No questions asked, and prepared rationalizations at the ready. Furthermore, this practice is socially reinforced by women doing the same thing, and the social conventions constructed to excuse the behavior. So these social conventions are what women use to manipulate us. There are ideas that they're trying to stick in our heads that they've reinforced. And so the idea that I only do one man at a time and you should only do one woman at a time. Are you a one woman man? That's a social convention. So furthermore, a woman can always, it is the unspoken rule of a woman's prerogative. A woman can always change her mind. Men, however, are supposed to stay tried and true. This is a powerful tool for women. In any situation, if a woman doesn't choose to be sexual, it is necessarily forced or obligated, even when it's after the fact. Either the jerk forced her physically or emotionally, or she had thought she wanted to but later reconsidered. It makes little difference. In all social situations, the default is to side with the feminine, the weaker sex, women, from sympathy or empathy, and men from a desire to eventually become intimate with them. I don't think he's a very good writer, but so I don't really know what he's trying to say here. In either instance, the feminine prerogative is socially reinforced. And that I know for a fact, that men will be questioned and pressured to do what a woman wants them to do, even if it's sexual, being auctioned off on a male auction block, even stripping and taking off their clothes. Women think that men should do these things, and if they're not, they're gay. So that's important to understand, because even by my focusing on it here as a male, my motives for doing so become suspect. So anything we do is possibly trying to get to sex. That's how embedded this dynamic is. To question it risk ostracization. However, I also understand that for a greater part of women, this plate spinning dynamic isn't a conscious effort on their part. So none of this is really conscious. It's not necessarily thought out. It's just what they do. In fact, I suggest that it is so thoroughly recognized that women default to it autonomously, which means they just do it that way. Also, this is a good example of the first principle of power. When you have power, always feign powerlessness. So in other words, women have a lot more power, but they like to pretend that they don't. Free reign. So with a firm understanding that their behaviors will, for the most part, be excused, and this is a huge problem with women getting away and thinking they can do anything, especially when in regards to sex with men and men's sexual behavior and how men should be used. They are free to practice the feminine form of plate theory unhindered by social reprisal. The feminine plate spinning involves much more than sex, though. Remember, attention is the coin of the realm in female society. The capacity to command attention determines self-esteem, peer status, sexual selectivity, and a host of other factors in a woman's life. So spinning plates become more than just a which guy am I going to get tonight prospect. The dynamic and these factors are what makes women natural plate spinners. Even when a woman has no intention of ever becoming sexual with a maybe guy, his intention still has some value to her. It appeals to the long-term perspective for security that a continuous subroutine running in her hindbrain. So in other words, she's just doing this automatically. This is the rudimentary psychology behind hypergamy. So these things, I guess he's saying, are running through women's hindbrain. It's not conscious, not consciously aware, but all these processes are being run by their instinct or their psychology, their evolved psychology. Now combine all of this with women's native language, covert communication. And it's natural for a man to assume that a woman will only ever become sexual with one guy at a time. This serves the latent purpose of keeping them in a kind of stasis. If he assumes women will only be sexual under the precondition of comfort and commitment, she is free to spin plates, essentially weighing options as she pleases, and sample at will what she sees as in her hypergamic best interest at the time. So if men live with this delusion that women present to them and act as if we're true, and if they actually believe it, that allows her to be free to pursue other plates. That's why committing to a woman is so dysfunctional, because it just frees her up to look elsewhere. It just relieves her anxiety so she can look for another better, bigger, badder guy and keep you just in case she can't find anybody better. If the carrot looks good enough, the guy will patiently pull the cart until such time as another better carrot comes along. Either way, he's in that stasis. If a guy were to see her social and psychological machinations for what they are, he would never pull the cart. So it serves women's best that men think commitment should always be required for intimacy, even in the face of her behavior directly contradicting this. And so many times we're being told by women over and over. I had a woman just tell me recently, try to convince me to so in other words, I'm supposed to be exclusive with her to show her that I'm capable of being a one-woman man while she doesn't have to. I'm supposed to qualify myself to her that way. And that's what she's trying to convince me of. No. Plate wars. Lastly, this social dynamic serves as a very effective weapon for women against each other. Competition anxiety between women is something men can exploit for their own plate spinning. But the reason it is useful is because women so readily use it against each other. For a woman to say another woman is a slut translates into an overt betrayal of this unspoken social contrivance. Essentially, she's saying the rules are that women require commitment for sex, but here's one who will never be worthy of any guy's commitment because she won't play by the rules you suckers think she will. And women, they're very good at pointing that out in other women. Oh, that woman's just trying to get it. That woman, oh, if that woman's just trying, they're very good at pointing it out in other women. She is tacitly disqualified for a man's commitment and is, at least in the accusing woman's mind, a reduced threat to this feminine competition. She becomes exposed in the same game they're all playing, and in being so, loses attention and therefore status and personal esteem. So, they're hypocrites, and they'll rat on one another in this competition for the highest quality men. It seems petty to guys, but it's really intragender warfare. Think of how many times an exceptionally attractive woman that is completely anonymous to a group of women you happen to be with will berate her based on appearance alone. That's how women will berate the woman just based on her appearance. She must be a tramp if she's dressed like that. These are the same women who will berate a man for basing his estimation of a woman on her outer appearance. This is manifested feminine competition anxiety. Ask a woman to name the most attractive female actress they can think of. Odds are it would be a woman who, as a guy you'd never think of, who presents the least threat of this anxiety. Gentlemen, as I'm fond of saying, women will have sex. He uses a different word. They may not have sex with you. They may not have sex with me, but they will have sex with someone. The girl who bangs the hot guy at the foam party in Cancun on spring break within 5 minutes of meeting him is the same girl who wants you to believe that they'll only fuck one guy at a time and then only after commitment. All women are sexual. You just need to be the right guy at the right time for the job. All right. So I hope that didn't offend anybody.
Absolutely not. I think we can get a round of applause for that one.
All right. Thank you, John. Thank you. So if anyone wants to comment on this or has a question, hello, everybody. Glad to see everybody. Thank you, Chad. I appreciate that. And any women have any comments? I'm sure it might be shocking to some of us, but this is what I've found too. But they always complain, so it's not really clear to me all of this, but yeah, there's a double standard out there for men. Somebody was just telling me, I was just listening to another influencer, men when we get charged with a crime, we get a harsher sentence than women do. I mean, black men get harsher sentences than white men, but men get harsher sentences than women for the same crime. And this Chad Daybell, Lori Vallow case where she killed her children, he got the death penalty. She's the orchestrator of it. She's the one who did it, who planned it all and made it all happen. It was her children that they killed, and yet she gets life in prison. He gets the death penalty. This is the type of stuff that we men are
Crazy, all just because they got tits,
Yeah, it's kind of like that, John. Yeah. And it's sort of like social constructs that they've put on us. Women can do anything when it comes to sex. Man, he's going to jail. He has to register as a sex offender. His wife's going to know about it. So, and that's the situation we're in. So how do we deal with this situation? Is one thing is don't commit right away. Be very careful. Give it a year or two before you commit to a woman, because they're gonna start asking you to commit right away. I have it all the time. No sex without commitment. Who the heck? Isn't this 2024? It's not the 1800s anymore. It's not even 1950s anymore. The women want 1950s relationships with 2024 equality. So we're being screwed, in my opinion. All right. Any comments? Anybody want to add anything here? Yeah, Clint, that would be great. Oh, you're muted, Clint. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Sorry, I came in late. I had technical trouble. I'm just curious. Is there a way to see the part of the page that I missed before? I came in about 10 after. I don't know if there's any way to, is there the book or any way to catch up on that? I don't want to waste other people's time, but
yeah, well, there are a lot of ways.
Okay.
One is the show's going to come out. I'm going to record it, but that's going to take a number of weeks. But you can find the Rollo Tomassi. They have actually PDFs of his book available online. So I'm using a PDF that's available free online. So you can find that. It's section 5 of the plate theory chapter.
Section 5 plate theory.
It's called Ladies Game.
Okay, right. Yeah. I'm just trying to catch up as to where we are in the conversation and try to figure out what I missed at the beginning. That's all.
Yeah. So women have game. There's no doubt about it. They're telling us when you go on a date, immediately you are locked into that game. They're trying to convince you that they're pure, they're innocent, they only want one guy at a time. They want to seek commitment. If you're going to just want to hook up, and they get an attitude. Boy, the attitude that some of these women have and come to.
Sometimes you just got to show them their place,
Well, yeah, John, can you elaborate on that? Give us some idea. If you want to turn, go ahead.
Sometimes just like the other day, I met this girl at the club, and she would try and dance with all these other guys, and I'm like, no, I'm here for you.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like dancing with all these other guys, and I couldn't do it. I got so frustrated. I went on to the next woman.
Yeah. Well, you were did you take her there on a date, or you just met her there?
Oh, I just met her there. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's and you just can't expect them to just suddenly hook up with you, when you go out there on that dance floor. And the fact of the matter is, from what we've been studying, you should be the one going out, and hopefully what you're doing is you're presenting yourself in a way that women are attracted to you. So rather than just focusing on one woman and going for one woman, you're trying to pre-qualify yourself. You're trying to show that other women are attracted to you. That's the best way. If you can show somehow non-verbally that other women are interested in you, whether it's by them looking at you, smiling, flirting with you, or anything, that woman will have more interest in you. But if you go chase that one woman and say, "Oh, I'm here for you. You've got to stop dancing with the other guys," and stuff like that, it's not. She's going to just go dance with the other guys. She's got to come to you. She's got to be the one who sees you as high value, and then she will come to you. And the one way to do that is to show that you're pre-selected, that other women are interested in you. So you should be going around showing her that other women are interested than you, and ignore her behaviors. But keep it in mind that that's how she is, because if you're going to be committed to her, we need to you
Well,
need to
of
be
course,
aware of that.
it's a woman after all, you know.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So let's see what we got. Okay, so yeah, I don't know what you meant by that, John. Are we siding with the male abuser? Did you have anything to mean by that, John, when you said that?
Oh no, I typed that into the wrong chat. Sorry.
Okay. Why do people put up with this crap? That's a good point. You have it. I think that the blue pill is powerful. And I swear it's so hard. You have to be ready for it. You have to be a point in your life where you're ready for it, because it's so ingrained in us, the teachings. We are responsible to sort of, we're the ones who are sexually promiscuous. It's men. Men just want sex. The whole narrative is out there, and anti-male. I was so disturbed when I was watching an influencer who was showing me on MSNBC a panel, and it was 5 women talking about the problems with dating. I'm thinking, first thing, where's the man on that panel? And then the second thing was, they said, all these women are finding that these men don't share their values. I'm thinking, what values? What do you mean we don't share your values? What values do you have besides trying to get the most money you can and the hottest guy you can? It's not a
Giving all
value.
these women a place to speak, no?
Well, I want the women to speak up too here, and and I don't think it's a matter of nobody's attacking, but what we want to do is just make sure that we have a discussion where we understand what we're talking about, and can learn something and get something from the discussion. And that's the most important thing. Yeah, I see. Juan, you did a few. So what can we do about this? That's okay. So the main thing is, number one, you're coming to this class, you're getting red pilled, you're learning about how women are. It's interesting. I'm angry. I'm very angry about it. And that's possibly because, as I realized, I was sexually abused by my aunts. I was sexually abused, and then sexually used as a young man by older women. I was sexually harassed, people wanting to make me post nude. And this stuff goes on. I mean, a man can't say no. I just ruminating on, a man's right to say no is not respected. If I want to say no, I don't want to participate in a strip bachelorette party or strip club, or go to a burlesque show or see belly dance, immediately there's an inquisition. And then come the accusations. And then sometimes women would say, if you don't want to go up there and be auctioned off so we can make money off your ass, then the insults come, the ridicule, the shaming types of behavior. And all these behaviors are very manipulative behaviors, designed to cow men into compliance. And that whole idea, if you want to hook up, I'm not the one who's going to do it with. All these kind of cower men get men to comply with the feminine prerogative, which is in some ways to put us all into mindsets of sexual scarcity, so that we're so desperate we have to accept the woman we can afford. And that woman may not be attractive. She may be older. A lot of older women are going for younger men. That's the reality. And when we talk about sharing men, they're doing strippers and male prostitutes are at the top of that list of women sharing men. And so I'm lucky, I'm good looking, I can get women to be with me. But some guys have a lot of trouble with that. And it's because women want only certain guys, the top 20%. So the best way what you can do is get red pilled and date non-exclusively, and be wary, and try not to be as angry as I am. Better to be manipulative than angry. And let's go here. Okay. And then yes, and then, so how do we do that if we just met them for the first time? It's all due to feminism in the Western world. I studied feminism, and I don't think it's due to feminism necessarily. I think it's due to women's nature. And I think they've been behaving this way for a long time. There's social changes that have gone on. And what I think it's more political. We have changed. We men have been forced to change. No one gives up their privilege. This is what African Americans say. White people would not give up their privilege unless they're forced to do so. Now, that doesn't include all white people. Of course, there's progressive white people who are fighting against racism and bigotry. But the point is that in general, you have to force people through political action to give up their privilege. Women are highly privileged, highly demanding right now. And so they can do whatever they want with a man sexually. They don't all want to do it, but they can do whatever they want. They can, and everything is a manipulation. So you just have to recognize that that's their nature. Their nature is to be manipulative and deceptive. And so I don't know if I answered that question, but there's a lot we can do. And I think learning and is the first step to trying to do.
Good golly, it's just like some SpongeBob porn,
What do you mean by that, John?
Well, he needs
Oh, John, we lost John. Okay. So go ahead, Clint.
Yeah, well, to answer the question, what can we do about it? I think, and someone just mentioned a comment about social media. I think you can use women's their competitiveness with each other, and this whole there's a concept called not proof of life, but maybe it's proof of life, proof of being social. And if you join meetup groups, or even you have a profile on Facebook or Instagram, whenever if you can show yourself. I mean, at my current Facebook, not the profile, but the one behind it shows me with like 3 women. And if you need to show people that, you're a man who's out and about and you have other options and you're a high value male. And I think you can do that. But now, obviously, if you just met somebody at a bar, you don't know anybody, that's a little more difficult. That's why it's helpful if you go to that bar, but you find a meetup group that's going to it and you join that, or you find a Facebook group that's going to that bar. And you know, you in this day of mobile phones, you know, you let people know who you are, and you know, you're showing pictures of you in different parties with different women hanging all over you or whatever. And but and you have to balance that some with showing pictures of you doing athletic things, out hiking or you know, whatever, biking. And um you want to make it so that I don't know that you necessarily want to show any pictures of you with former girlfriends or something, but you want to make it appear that you're both out and about, a man of the world, but you're also, you have other sides, and you have interests and hobbies and exercise, and you're manly, and you know, create that you're available for the right woman, and let them fight over you. So,
Right. Yeah, I think that's important, especially for your dating app profile, that it be a good profile. Now, I'm not sure that showing pictures with other women on the dating app, but there maybe in your social media
right.
things, then you can do that. And I also think that one thing, like for instance, I went to this little public concert, and this young woman, you know, I turned around, she was looking at me, she smiled at me, and then all of a sudden, the woman I'm with, I could feel her grab my arm, you know, so walking with me fast, you know. So it's that type of thing too, you know. If you're on a date with a woman and women are looking at you, you might not notice it, but they'll notice it. You know, maybe the waitress will flirt with you, you know, something like that. It really helps if you're good looking. That really helps for sure. I don't know how to do it otherwise. And even good looking, I still can't get the woman I want, you know, still can't get a beautiful woman, even though I'm good, decent, good looking, still can't find an attractive woman because the money situation. So, Chad, you wanna speak up? You want to talk about the horror that is OnlyFans? And I really recommend don't pay women for that. You know, there's plenty of free porn if you need porn. You know, I mean, I understand the need for it, but don't pay women if you can avoid paying women for sex. Avoid it. If you, like I've told people before, if you have to or if you want to, go someplace where it's inexpensive, Tijuana, Thailand, something like that. Um, you know, someplace you don't have to spend a lot of money to get to. If you have to do that, I'd recommend just, I don't care what the woman looks like, you know. The woman is in need and she wants you, she's going to try and convince you. Like I was with this heavy woman and she took me, I went and saw Cheap Trick in Palm Springs. She paid for the tickets, she paid for the gas, she drove, she paid for the hotel room. But she was highly sensitive because she was fat, you know. And I made my joke and she got upset. And you can't really talk to a person who every time thinks, yeah, and really I'm not really feeling that great, you know. I wouldn't be proud to have that woman on my own. I want a woman I feel good about, you know, if I'm going to commit to that woman. So she might be picking up on a lot of things, you know, that are nonverbal and stuff like that. But you have to recognize, hey, you're fat. You're not attractive. You're not beautiful. Okay. And and let's just deal with it, you know. Having to tell a woman she's beautiful, just sort of and encourages her to think that. And we have these ideology telling you're beautiful at any size, all women, but talk about men. Men are not beautiful at any size. Men are not handsome with any appearance. No, only women are beautiful at any size. You know, well, maybe they're beautiful on the inside. A lot of women who are beautiful on the outside, really ugly on the inside. But so, and these OnlyFans girls are, you know, we got to stop paying women for this. I don't know. For me, I feel like I was taken advantage of, and therefore I don't feel women should be paid. You know, if I was a kid or teenage boy, I was taken advantage of. Why should I pay a woman? You know, why should I pay a woman? If that's what they, you know, because they want sex too, and they're not doing anything. I'm doing all the work. I'm the guy who's making the magic happen. But anyway, I'm getting off on my thing here. But yeah, prostitutes, strippers, OnlyFans, don't spend your money on that. Spend it on yourself. Buy something, buy some new clothes, you know, to make yourself look better. Get in a weight loss program so you can lose some weight. You know, do things that are going to make you more attractive rather than spending your money on that, giving that money to women. Because I think part of the problem here is not just that women are making the same amount of money as men, and there's this ever shrinking pool of men who are financially make more than women, because that's what they want, a man who has or makes more than them. So there's going to be a shrinking pool of that, but also women have made tons of money off of men. So it's not just that they're earning more, they're making more. I mean, they've already rung a man up by the time they get to us at 59. You know, they got a house, they got a car, they got all this stuff. And part of it is because they got it from their ex. You know, we don't have that advantage. So, let's see, what else have we got here? Social media is the cause. You want to elaborate on that, Johnson, Lynn? Because I think a lot of people are saying social media is a cause of this, because women are getting so much attention that they've become deluded. And yeah, John, go ahead, Johnson.
Yeah, because I think this whole OnlyFans, trend is basically caused by social media, mostly IG. And then, I mean, I don't know how it started, to be honest with you, but it's pretty out of control right now. So, so, I mean, I don't know the history of it, of OnlyFans, but I know it's only recent, probably in the past, 5 or 10 years that it took off, but it's really out of control. And now it's like, I mean, as an older man, I feel like all the younger women just want to get paid,
Yeah. I mean, money's at the top of their list. Match is full of gold diggers. And even just asking for commitment up front, that's a form of gold digging, because you're really asking the guy to essentially devote all his resources and his commitment and attention to you in exchange for access to sex. And it's also prostitution. So it's in other words, you're asking him to give you everything that he can give you. And I was explaining to a woman that women are the gatekeepers of sex, men are the gatekeepers for relationships. It's going to be really hard for a woman to get, one of us, to just commit to them right away or commit to them at all. My feeling is, if I can't get the woman I want, an attractive woman that I want, I won't commit to any of them. And a lot of women say if they can't get the guy they want, they won't even have sex. They won't even have a relationship. But, they're probably going and having sex with male prostitutes at strip clubs and strippers. They're getting their needs met somewhere. Don't believe a word they say. But maybe some of them aren't having sex. And I know they tell me they're not having sex. And so they end up with me, right? Because I'm good looking, and why not, and then they think, oh, he had sex with me, he must like me, he's going to be committed to me. And I'm telling them, look, no. I just, I know what women do. They want to have sex with good looking guys. So that's what they want to do. It's not, I'm going to take advantage. I'm going to situate myself so that I can get my needs met. Let's put it that way. But I don't know how some of you guys are doing it without paying an arm and a leg for it.
And just as a follow-up, I guess to Clint's point earlier about social media, putting yourself out there, you got to be really careful now, because there's a lot of scammers online, Facebook, IG, Instagram, Tinder especially. There's a lot of scammers out to scam us.
I'd say that any prostitute is a scammer, to be honest.
Yeah, that's right. And they're scammers for women too, because they're so caught up in getting that top 20% of guys that they end up desperate with nobody, because they're just not attracted to the guys who would commit to them. And that's the problem that women are facing, that they want the guys who all the other women want, but the guys who would love them, the guys who would commit to them, the guys who would be loyal to them, the guys who would be good to them, they don't want, because they don't meet the financial requirements, they don't meet the attractiveness requirements that women have. So they're going after these guys like me, who I'm looking for somebody who I'm attracted to, but you know, I'm also willing to service plenty of women who come my way. So yeah, so I think social media has sort of exacerbated it, and the scammers are not just you get a lot of phone calls. I get phone calls from scammers, you know, not text messages, you know, saying, "Oh, or is this who and so? Oh, I'm sorry, did I disturb you?" And then I get a picture of a beautiful woman, and then really it's a guy on the other line. It's not even a woman on the other line. But yeah, it's the women who are the scammers a lot of times. And so yeah, and I do think that it is a scam. You know, everything is just try and get you to pay. And there's a lot of and they don't even know that they're doing it. I had a woman just last week telling me about, like I said, how I should pre-qualify myself to her. She didn't realize that she was really manipulating me into something that was not in my best interest at all. It was only in her interest that I stopped seeing other women, because she was not at all committed to not seeing other men, or committed to me. And she said so. She's not ready for commitment. She's enjoying her freedom. But I should prove to women that I'm a one-woman man before they commit to me. You know, and there's absolutely nothing to talk about with a woman unless she's ready to make a commitment, unless she asks for a commitment. As a man, you should never be the one to ask for a commitment from a woman, because you want to maintain your, you know, you're the prize. You're the prince that she's after. Why would you start making her the prize and trying to get her to commit? She's got to come to you and demand that you commit. And they'll do that right off the bat. But be careful, they're not committed to you at that point. You know, it has to be the right time. You know, if they just want you to commit in order to have sex, they're not committed to you at all. They're just giving you a try, and they don't want you to have anybody else while they try to determine whether they like you or not. So, and Chad, you said something about what university? I'm wondering. Oh, studies that 60% of couples meet at work. Work is quickly becoming a no-sex zone. It's very difficult and dangerous to meet a woman at work. If something happens, your employer is going to be involved. Less and less people are meeting at work. It's becoming more and more a no-sex zone. If there's a threat of sexual harassment charges, that and you know, it's just not a good idea to get women at work or to get women through work. And I think you'll see that statistic is probably going to drop. I don't know where that statistic comes from, because I don't think people are meeting at work anymore. Most of us are meeting online. Yeah, and oh, I guess your dog. Okay, transgendered women real women? I would say this, that a transgendered woman has a lot of the same mental programming that women have. In other words, they're prostitutes, just like it. They think they want money. Yeah, they're there too. That's part of the gay community too, probably, but more so with transsexuals. Are they, you know, but there may be some differences in perspective that comes from having been male or knowing what it is to be male, that like, for instance, they may not be as commitment may not be as something they're going to force on you right away, because they understand, you know, what men are doing. And if they're not ready to commit to you, why would they force it on you? But I think there's a lot of similar dynamics, and whether they're real women, I don't know, they're not born as women. Let's put it that way. Go ahead, Clint. No, there you go.
Okay, yeah. My understanding, I mean, they were born male. We see this now in some of the troubles at the Olympics right now, but they still have XY chromosomes, which are male as opposed to XX. And
Mhm.
from what I know, from what I've heard anyway, when a male is formed, the two in a woman, the two halves of the brain are, I believe, are interconnected by what's called the corpus callosum, and that allows the left and right hemisphere to interact, and that's why women often have a lot of intuition and so forth. And that bridge is dissolved with, I think, so it doesn't exist in men. So I do believe that even if you add estrogen, they develop breasts, even if they have a complete sex change operation down below, I don't think it changes their brain. I don't think they become overly especially emotional like born females do. So you're dealing with kind of a different creation, a different state. It's not exact. I don't think it's the same as a woman who's born a female. So that may affect your interaction with they, them, her, she, her, whatever the right pronoun is.
Yeah. Well, I often say variety is the spice of life. And if you like that type of thing, it may be a good substitute for how women are nowadays. I mean, I'm looking for a better woman.
Right.
And there may not be one out there, and so I don't know if you're okay with that. If you're not okay with it, then that's
I mean, I'm not okay with it, but I do remember my dad telling me that he married my mother because she thought like a man. She was attractive, but in other words, she was a logical thinker.
Mhm.
If you're having trouble with women that are just too emotional, which most seem to be,
Mhm.
that might be a difference. I mean, it's not. I'm not trying to. I don't want to walk on the wild side, but
Right.
who knows? It might be something that would work.
Yeah. Well, it seems to be that poverty is the thing that really sort of makes it so that women are better, But if they're beautiful, that's the problem. When they get beautiful, they're no longer poor. They can make money off their beauty. Transsexuals, maybe not so much. They could be attractive. And there's some that are very beautiful and they make a lot of money off their sex. But there may be some that are attractive enough who it's like dating a fat girl, right? Like dating a fat girl. Yeah, sure. She's going to be the same way as every other woman, but she's not going to make it be as demanding as other women. Go ahead, John. Unmute and give us what you want to say.
Yeah, so I was just thinking, if it's the body of a female with transgenders woman's, if it's the body of a female but the mind of a male, wouldn't that make them the ultimate being? Because we're here talking about how men have the superior intellect and thinking of the way we push through, and how we're more, I wouldn't say monogamous, but we're less. I'm like I don't mean to slut shame, but we're less slutty, I guess. So wouldn't that mean that if transgender women have the mind of a male and the body of a female, wouldn't that make them like the ultimate being?
Well, if they have that, because I think what I'm kind of saying is they kind of have the mind of a female, and that's why they're transgender. That's why they feel that they were born in the wrong body, because they feel they have those, and they have some of the same mindsets, the same way as thinking, the same sort of innate sort of psychological behaviors and constructs. So, but also their bodies are not, they have to have surgery to look like a female, you've got to sometimes have surgery on their face. They have to have, of course, breasts. They have to have surgery on their hips to actually make them look like a woman in a woman's body. So sometimes if you run into a trans, they really don't have a woman's body, but they have many of the women's mannerisms. So I don't know if that makes them the ultimate in sexual partners, but I guess it depends on your preferences or as women. But I think people can sometimes be better women. They can be better women sometimes if they have a better understanding of what men go through, are poor themselves. Poverty means they're looking for less money, right? It seems like we're all stuck looking for a poor woman if we don't have money. And be lucky to find a beautiful one. You have to go to another country to find an attractive poor woman. I don't think you can find an attractive poor woman at our age, at least. So, and 2/3 of all women are looking for financial status per survey. I think that's one of the first things on their mind. You don't even get to the date unless they think you have money. They won't even meet you. And that's the thing. They don't want to have sex with you because they might fall in love with you if you don't have money. So they won't even go out with you. And that's a very disappointing thing. So I'm trying to find those women who want sex. And they may be fat. They may not be good looking. But if they want to be intimate, at least I'm going to get my needs met. And I have a little of a fat fetish. I'm not, BBWs are not unattractive to me. Some people don't like heavy women, but I'm not necessarily going to commit to one. I'm not necessarily going to marry one unless she's attractive, beautiful too. And there can be some big, beautiful women out there. It's perfectly okay. But the problem is that even the beautiful BBWs, are being paid. Even they are looking for money. So that it's really a frustrating situation for men. If I knew how much money was important, I never would have followed Jesus. I never would have decided to work for justice and equality. I never would have done any of those things. And so that's where women are leading us, to a society with antisocial traits. Greed is number one. So they want to blame us for being toxic. They want to blame us for war. They want to blame us for all the problems in the world. But it's really them who are determining what men need to be in order to get a beautiful woman. And that's an incredibly powerful motivation. If women are saying you need to be rich and you need to be a badass and you need to be mean and you need to have some of these dark triad traits, that's what they're breeding. So, yes, be careful at work. Thank you, Chad. Any other any questions, comments out there? Thank you for having your camera on, Raphael. Thank you. Rick, Glenda, Eric, Matthew. Let's try and see. Does anybody tell me their experience of a women's game type of thing beyond just trying to convince us that we have to be committed to them and in order to have sex, and that we have to pay for dates because that's our social responsibility and because we're supposed to be providers. And
yeah, I do. So I just want to say that you're a fucking asshole and you have no right saying any of this to women, you huge piece of shit. Goodbye now.
Look, see you, Carlos. So so that guy was a con artist and an actor, right? Because wasn't he the one acting? And they do that stuff, But and notice that he doesn't listen. So you blue pill, people don't listen. Women don't listen to men. There's a guy out there saying men need to be heard. Women don't listen. You can talk to them until they're blue in the face. They won't hear a word you're saying. And some guys are just not ready to hear the truth about how women are. And when you realize how women are, they're not sugar and spice and everything nice. They can be exploitative, they can be abusive, they can be just as bad as men, even worse. So they can be sexual abusers. Many of them are. And if you look at what's happening in our schools with young women sexually abusing boys in a high risk situation, risking getting caught, just imagine what's happening in homes and neighborhoods across this country. The most underreported crime there could be. So, yeah. Well, I'm running out of things to say, guys.
Well, I think one of the games, you read about it, is love bombing someone. They'll if they think you're the high value target, they'll latch onto you and then try to get you to marry them. And they act as the sugar and spice and everything nice. And then when you marry them, then their true stripes start to show. So I think that's another aspect of their game.
Yeah, love bombing. Yeah. And I think a lot of women have become narcissistic, and love bombing is a part of the narcissistic game. And I have a woman now who's been telling me she loves me. She hasn't been making me be exclusive, but she's been telling me she loves me from almost day one. But I know in part, I have to be wary of it, is that it's my status and my looks, and she's, poor immigrant, so there's reasons why. And Casey Zander says basically the only reason a woman loves you is because she perceives you as higher value than her. The moment she stops perceiving you as higher value, she doesn't love you anymore.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I've thought about it. You see TV movies or something about some rich guy, and he tries to hide his money because he wants to find a woman who loves him for him. And honestly, I think if you take away as a male, your status, your money, your position, your title, your popularity with other women, I really don't know that there's anything left that women are interested in. I don't know how they can love us if we don't have any or all of those things. Maybe it happens in some places with particular. I mean, with the immigrant woman, I don't know some obviously they want to permanently be in the U.S. They need to get married to do that. I mean, it seems to me there's always some angle. It's never, I don't know. Maybe it happens in California where you are, Rich.
Yeah, no.
You're walking along the beach under a full moon and you're the same zodiac sign, but I haven't found a situation where they're going to love you just for you, because they're so needy for all those other things. They're looking for someone who will fill all those things. So
yeah, I think and I tried that when I was younger. I didn't really want a woman to want me for my money or want me because I'm a lawyer, right? So I really sort of downplayed that, but it really didn't work. But now have that, and I run into a bunch of gold diggers on Match, but it seems like who you are, your job as a lawyer, I'm very proud of that. And it does talk about who I am. Now, does it mean that I'm rich? Not necessarily, but it does say something about me.
Well, you are rich, but not necessarily rich. Not a rich.
Yeah, it's my name, not my stat.
You can say to the woman, "Hey, I'm rich." Oh, how much money do you make? No, that's my name.
Yeah. Well, I have on my profile name is Rich Pro.
Okay.
So that
I
really,
didn't think you were a rich professional. There you go.
yeah, rich professional. I know. I mean, it's just, it has that connotation, but I know it does have that connotation too, but it's also very simple. It's my first name and my last name.
Yeah.
So, are women attracted to masculine male or feminine cute male? Definitely masculine. I mean, Eric, and if you want to comment, go ahead and unmute and give us your comments on that. But it's definitely masculine. Women are not interested in feminine men. And this is the problem, that men are being taught wrong. We're being taught to be nice. We're being taught to be kind. We're being taught to treat women with respect. We're being taught to, we're being taught to basically cater to them and almost to pre-qualify ourselves to them. We're being taught that they are the prize, that we have to pay. So yeah, a lot of guys are being taught wrong. And I think one thing shows, I look at my picture from years ago, and I look different. And the women say, you look different. Well, it's possibly because maybe I had some not steroid, but what's that, testosterone shots. Maybe it changed my appearance, but I don't think so. I think it's when you have that sort of nice guy look. You have that night, I'm a nice guy, I got my glasses, I'm such a nice guy. You come off as really kind of weak, and you look that part. You look that part of the nice guy, and women find that unattractive. They want a tough, mean, badass, really, not a mean to them, nice to them. They don't want nice guys. They don't even want good guys. They want a guy. If you could cheat, steal, and rob and make it rich and survive, that's all many women care about. And so, yeah, definitely, you're going to want to work out. You definitely must lose weight if you can. And the way I'm doing it is just not eating as much, not really eating breakfast until noon, and not really eating a whole lot. So, and I've been losing weight successfully, but you got to find a way to lose weight. You got to find a way to make yourself better. That's why wasting your money on prostitutes, strippers, and cam girls is such a waste of time. Get yourself a new wardrobe, buy some bling, make yourself look better, and get out there and get a woman who isn't going to be screwing you because they are with you because you have money. And yeah, and something Clint said that I want to comment on, but it sort of skipped my mind. But yeah, so definitely you got to be masculine. You got to be macho for a woman. You just read the romance novels. If you think of the romance novels that women read and the men in those romance novels, think of the male strippers that they go screaming gaga for, that they hang out with in the club and suck his penis or be intimate with him in various ways, and then go home and tell their husband, they have a headache or whatever, because they're getting their sexual needs met elsewhere. Just take a look at those guys. Yeah. All right. Go ahead, Clint.
Wasn't there, though, more recently than not, it had gone from just being tough men, that they wanted men that were tough on the outside and soft and tender on the inside? That was my impression, that there was that period of time, if not still going on.
I think there is this idea of the guy who's both a lawyer and loves puppies at the same time, is kind, but it's really kind to them.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you make a good point that I think women do want, I mean, in general, they want guys who are going to be good to them. That's for sure. But and a lot of women want guys who are good, and they're not necessarily all looking for bikers and gangsters, but the tendency is not towards that. And the nicer you are, the less sexy you really become to them. So take a look at what they're looking at too when you're with them. Who are the guys they're looking at? They're not dweeby, sort of feminine, nice guys.
Yeah. My understanding is that the reason that they are that way is that basically they get bored with nice guys. That if they find a guy that's a tough guy, a badass guy, kind of edgy, that's exciting. They don't know what's going to happen next, and he can defend them. He's their protector. Other women will be interested in him, and they'll feel good about themselves when they're victorious and hanging on to him. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think yeah. Boy, I'm really losing it. Losing my train of thought here. Thinking about
Well, anyway, so it's they're more excited about, that's why they want
right.
the badass guy, but that's probably not good for them long term, but that's the way their brains are wired. So
well, I remember now, it's a dual mating strategy that I was going to bring up. They want a guy who's going to be a good dad, and that guy has to be, the loving, caring guy. And then they want a guy who's a good fuck and a guy, but they also want their dad, their good dad, to also be tough, but a kind, tough but kind type of thing. And tough with the outside world, but kind and gentle and protective of his family. And yeah, but the dual mating strategy is there too. That guy is the guy who's going to bring home the bacon, take care of the kids, pay the bills, but the guy they really want is the male stripper or the male prostitute or the Chad or the Tyrone, whatever it is, the stud, and the biker, the bad boy. Those are what turned them on, and they may get bored with the good guys, and good guys may be completely boring to them too. But I think probably more of it is this dual mating strategy that they have, and a woman will tell you, well, you're for a different purpose. You're for a different purpose, right? The stripper is for one purpose. And the guy they're trying to get to commit is for a different purpose. And that's why they treat you. That's why you have to wait. And the guy at the Cancun foam party, the stripper, doesn't have to wait. And so they make these distinctions too. So, well, I think everybody's taken off. So I think we're done for today. Thank you, Clint. Thank you, Matthew, again for being here. Thank you, Johnson, Hiro, Kai, and Eric, and for sticking with us. And I'll see you next month. We're moving beyond. We're out of the plate theory chapter. We're moving to the next chapter. Maybe I should see what that is here, which is oh no, we're in the plate theory. Well, scarcity and abundance, but I think we did that. I don't know if we'll do that again, but we did that, and then we're talking about average frustrated chumps. So I'll see what we do. Maybe we'll do, he reversed it. Last time it was abundance and scarcity. Now it's scarcity and abundance. So that's probably what we'll do next month. So I'll see you guys all next month.
Terrific. Thanks,
All right.
Rich.
Thank you. Thank you, Clint.